Cast and my I don't know, iPad, these AirPods or mic. I don't know which. Something just got to give. And looks like it's going to be two things. Oh, hi. Hey, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Friday Night Tech Talk. We are your host. I am Ted Talks, and join me is Mobile Geek.
Hey, everybody. Exactly. And the only one I see in here now, Eleanor just popped in right. Nigel was first, and he was the only one in here for a while. Hey, Eleanor.
I think usually when it's on my channel, it's more it's a more private affair.
Oh, pardon me.
Hold on. Not.
I was going to sing
hey,
Family
Brian.
Affair.
Brian is here.
There's Brian. Yo, Brian. How are you, sir?
I was waiting for Ren so I can do today's sponsor, but looks like.
Oh, that's right.
By the way, let me guys know what you think. If you notice any difference. If you like.
Yeah, we're seeing a ceiling and a fan.
My ceiling is up to par. But no. In fact, let me just. I showed you, but I got a shotgun mic from Rode, the Rode Video Mic C, and because it's a USB-C, let me let you guys see my forehead. There we go. Because it's a USB-C mic, it should work with the iPad, and it does work with the iPad, but I can't use the mic and my iPad case at the same time. So, yeah, it's the trade-off. It's a trade-off. And then and then on top of that, because with Apple, not one but two, I can't. If once I plug in the mic, I can't use the speaker, so I have to plug in AirPods to use it. Huh. But how's my audio, guys? Is it
a very eerie
good?
problem? Oh, sounds pretty good right now to me.
Okay, I have a fix for this whole thing though. I can just put this on I can put the tablet on a tripod and just go from there. But I'll always need AirPods to listen. If the shotgun mic is that good.
But you know what he's going to do, folks? As soon as he gets a perfect setup, he's going to change it the following week like he always does.
But hey, how many setups have I tried on this? Pretty much more than most, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say 20, 25, something way up there.
But I think the best one was the Windows one.
Well, watching you drink through a straw, I guess I should say this sucks. Oh.
Okay, let me get to some stories. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to follow along, the stories are in the description. Go ahead and click on Mobile Geezer's WordPress site, and it'll take you to the stories.
MobileGeezer.wordpress.com.
Guess from our.
Yep.
.wordpress.com. And if you couldn't guess it from the thumbnail, you could say today's stories have a theme. Nigel already guessed the theme. Looks like Nigel already guessed it. I can't share. I should share the comments, but I can't.
Yeah,
I can't share comments. Oh my God. Look, guys, I shared a comment on my tablet. Goodness gracious.
Learning as we go.
Yep. Aha. All right. All right. Well, anything happened on your week you want to share, George?
Nothing. Had a pretty good week. Got some good exercise in. We're into my kind of weather now. It's like 90 almost every day, which that's right.
This is your kind of weather. So you wish for this.
This is absolutely my kind of weather. Yes. And
did you bring this
did a
weather
little
on us,
yard work
George?
with Eleanor. Hey, I'd bring it on me every day. I could deal with 90 every day of the year. I can deal with 100 every day of the year for that matter.
No, my gosh, no, I ain't doing it too far. But speaking of ride and exercise,
Now, keep in mind, Ted, when I pull up the stories, when I first pull up a story, I'll have regular mode so you can see the title and the author and stuff, and then I'll switch it to reader mode. Because when I switch to reader mode, the author disappears and the title like somewhat disappears. And what were you saying about exercise?
Okay. Yeah, for the past, I think 2 or 3 weeks, my bicycle has just been getting flat tires, and I haven't been riding the damn thing. So let's say, one time I had a flat tire, took it there, then I bring it back, haven't ridden it, I drive it back in the car. When I go to go out to take it on a ride, it has a flat tire, so I go back to the bike shop, and this time, when they fixed it again, it had a flat tire. I could hear it go out in the car. So I had to drive it back.
Okay.
And they fixed it. And then today, when I was going to go ride again, the back and front tire went out. And once again, I have not ridden this bicycle in the last 3 weeks. So I was like, hey, guys, what you doing here? Because it's not a goddamn thing. My bicycle keeps...
Do your tires have tubes?
Yeah, my tires have tubes. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like they might be trying to fix a flat and not replace. I would put a new tube in both tires.
Oh yeah, each time they fixed it, they put in a new tube.
Then something in the tire is punching a hole in it. So then somewhere on that tire, something's cutting through that tube.
They check the rims and they
said if it's in the rubber of the tires and it's coming through, it's cutting your tube somewhere. That's a very weird problem.
Maybe. But anyway, I just threw more money at the power. I just told them to trade.
See Eleanor's comment?
Yeah, Ellen, I probably should have done that.
She's right.
Yeah, change bike repair. Well, let
me give you a tip.
So I just told them to replace the tires.
Let me give you a tip. Talk to some bike riders in your area, especially the guys who wear their club colors. They're the guys that tell you what bike shop to go to. That's how I got mine.
Okay. They had good reviews on Google Maps, though.
Okay.
I'll look for next time. I'll look for the club colors. Like, make it sound like it's a bike gang.
The club people know what they're doing. They always know the best bike places.
You sure they don't just take care of it themselves?
No, they still know where to go when they have a problem. They can't take care of themselves. So I talk to them.
Okay. I just did $150 worth of changes and modifications on the bike now because I put better better treads. I replaced both tubes. I added a kickstand, and if it goes out again, I'm gonna go to REI or something because.
Okay.
Because those kids
sounds like a plan to me. Yeah.
$150 plan.
Yeah, I replaced my tires and my seat and my chain, and it's like I have a brand new bike.
Let's see.
I'm ready when you are.
Yeah, I was waiting for Renz. I hope he's okay. Let me go check Twitter.
Yeah, I hope so too. He's usually here by now. But remember, last week he Last week he was running late when he went to work. So.
Boom. Thank
Okay.
you, George.
Okay. All right. So as soon as you read the title, then I'll switch to reader mode. As soon as you read the title and the author.
Good idea. So Leica's very own Leeds Phone 1 is a rebadged Sharp Aquos R6 by Arley.
Okay. Switch. And there we go.
Oh, crap. Hold on. I can't read it off your screen. I got an iPad, George. Oh, gosh. And
I thought you were
pasted it on.
going to read it off your phone. You usually read it off your phone.
Yeah, I didn't have that, so I added that story last minute. All right, I got it. They share the same 1-inch sensor and 240 hertz display. Following the long collaboration with Huawei and the more recent Sharp Aquos R6, Leica is finally launching its own smartphone.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. The Leeds Phone 1 is Leica's first self-branded mobile phone, and it'll be a SoftBank exclusive when it launches in July. The camera maker isn't afraid to admit that the Leeds phone is actually a rebadged Aquos R6, which isn't a bad thing at all. It's not a bad thing.
Nope.
With the format emphasizing a true Leica experience down to the level of industrial design and UI. The Leeds Phone 1, named after Leica's original brand, shares a similar design language with its iconic cameras, and it comes complete with the Leica red dot plus a magnetic circular lens cap. Oh. But instead of a leather back, the device sports a matte black glass cover to cover with the Leica silver metallic body. That sucks.
I don't think so.
This comes in a 9.5 millimeter. Oh, I prefer the leather back. I'm tired of this glass.
Pardon me.
You can protect the back. You can protect the backside with a bundled hard case. Just like the R6, the Leeds Phone 1 packs a 1-inch, 20 megapixel sensor for its 1.9 main camera, along with a 12.6 megapixel selfie camera on the other side. It's a 6.6 ISO
I was
OLED
disappointed with the
offers
f1.9.
Yeah, f1.9. Yeah. But you know, it's a 1-inch sensor, so maybe the 20 megapixels. Who knows? Maybe it just performs like as well as I mean, the Sony ZV-1 that has a 1.8 aperture, and that performs very good. So this is like we're just losing 0.1 aperture size. So
fingers crossed.
That was delicious. As well as a 240 hertz variable refresh rate by way of black flame insertion. So it's really just 120 hertz. Nice try, guys.
Exactly.
There's also a 3D ultrasonic fingerprint sensor on the display, and it can read up to 2 fingerprints simultaneously for extra security. I'm not impressed by that. What am I gonna do? Just be like, ooh.
Yeah, that's like, what I was wondering. But I'd like to see it in action, though. You know.
Oh no, maybe it's like, oh, my bank app. Ooh. Or like, you know, when you got to talk to the mistress, you got to look over your shoulder. 2 fingers to open up the app.
You're a sick man.
Do you think I doubt they'll implement that. I really do. I doubt it. If it was Huawei, they would do it, but not. I don't know about Sharp.
Oh
The
boy,
generous
oh boy, oh boy.
5,000 milliamp hour battery and IP68 dust water resistant are here to stay. Comes with 12 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage, 888 processor. The Lights phone runs on Android 11, which features a largely monochrome UI customized by Leica. Unsurprisingly, the camera app offers a Lights look mode for capturing black and white photos, which should keep Leica fans happy. Yes, I was very happy with the black and white photos the Huawei P20 took with Leica. Other than that, the interface looks largely similar to stock Android based on the screenshots during today's keynote. For now, the Lights phone is a SoftBank exclusive in Japan and they're asking for about $1,700. Pre-orders start on June 18th and they'll be available late July. There's no word on international availability just yet. That means there won't be, I'm guessing. So we'll just keep an eye out for further announcements. Hey, you mind if you can play that video at the bottom?
I have to switch back. I got to get out of reader mode then.
Yeah, we got to read them all.
Let me see. Is this it? No, that's a Twitter. Where's the video? I don't see a video at the bottom.
It's at the bottom.
I'm not finding it.
What browser are you using?
I'm using the Google, like I always use.
Interesting. I'm using the Edge browser and I see it. Let me play it on my end.
All right.
This is going to be janky, guys. But it's necessary. And this is the phone. Oh, look at that. You guys enjoying that? Oh,
okay.
Look at that. It looks like the sides are riveted. It looks kind of similar to the Note 20 Ultra. Nice and thick. It's a thick boy. One thing about the camera hump, though, is that the lens inside is not dead center inside the camera hump, which is kind of irking me a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, but it's just got the one sensor.
Are you going to be spending $1,700 on this thing?
I think I just saw a headphone jack.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. We need to rewind this. Does this have a headphone jack, guys?
That's a good shot. Keep it there.
It's got a headphone jack. Ow!
Yeah, I think it does. Yes. So that got you all jacked up. Okay.
Yeah, the headphone jack is making a return. Oh. These are some weak straws.
Maybe you're just sucking too hard.
Nothing less. I'll have to go back up. I have to get closer. I'm at the lowest level now.
Don't you just love these technical issues, folks?
There you go. Added.
Okay. So our next story, of course, on The Verge. And it's Apple admits why its own Files app was ranked first when users searched for a competitor, Dropbox, by Sean Hollister. Let me switch to reader mode. Get rid of some of these commercials. Okay. In 2019, facing down extensive investigations by the Wall Street Journal and New York Times that showed Apple's App Store clearly and consistently ranking its own apps ahead of competitors, Apple claimed it had done nothing wrong. A secret algorithm containing 42 different variables was working as intended, top executive told the Times, insisting that Apple doesn't manually alter search results. Why do I bring this up? An intriguing email chain has surfaced during the Epic versus Apple trial where it sure looks like Apple did the exact opposite, seemingly admitting it manually boosted the ranking of its own Files app ahead of the competition for 11 entire months. We are removing the manual boost in search results should be more relevant now, wrote Apple App Search Debanka Naskar, after the company was confronted by Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney over Apple's Files app showing up first when searching for Dropbox. Dropbox wasn't even visible on the first page of search results. You can read the whole email chain embedded in a little ways below. As you'll see, NASCAR suggested that Files had been intentionally boosted for that exact search result during the last WWDC. That would have been WWDC 2017, nearly a year earlier when the Files app first debuted. The email chain actually reflects fairly well on Apple's overall. Apple's Matt Fisher, VP of the App Store, clearly objects to the idea at first. Who greenlit putting the Files app above Dropbox in organic search results? I didn't know we did that, and I don't think we should, he says. But he does end the conversation with, in the future, I want any similar requests to come to me for review approval, suggesting he's not entirely ruling out manual overrides. But Apple tells The Verge that what we think we're seeing in these emails isn't quite accurate. While Apple didn't challenge the idea that Files was unfairly ranked over Dropbox, the company says the reality was a simple mistake. Sure it was. The Files app had a Dropbox integration, so Apple put Dropbox into the app's metadata, and it was automatically ranked higher for Dropbox searchers as a result. I'm slightly skeptical of that explanation, so am I. Partially because it doesn't line up with what NASCAR suggests in the email, partially because Apple also told me it immediately fixed the error, despite it apparently continuing to exist for 11 months, hardly immediate. And partially because the company repeatedly ignored my questions about whether this has ever happened with other apps before. The most Apple would tell me is that it didn't manually boost Files over competitors, and that we do not advantage our apps over those of any developer or competitor as a general rule. Of course, you're saying that with the House and Senate both looking right down your throat at the moment. But honestly, it may not matter whether Apple manually boosted its own apps or not. What matters is the result. For 11 months, Apple's new Files app owned exact searches for its competitor, Dropbox, a company Steve Jobs repeatedly swore he would kill off. We'll get to that later. And it took the CEO of a prominent Apple partner emailing still ranked #1 after this email was resolved, according to an infographic that accompanied the WSJ story. Besides, the distinction between a manual boost and any other kind of boost may be purely academic. Algorithms are written by people, after all. If Apple can build a 42-factor algorithm that gives its own apps favorable results, why would it need to override that algorithm and risk its emails getting caught up in a lawsuit years from now? It could just tweak that algorithm at will, which is exactly what it did to resolve the WSJ and NYT scrutiny 2 years ago. It only took a single engineer to change the algorithm in July 2019, according to the Times. And Apple's own apps immediately fell in App Store rankings. But that time, executives said the previous formula wasn't a mistake. So first it was, then it wasn't. Apple simply wanted to make it look less like its own apps were getting special treatment. So it improved, in quotes, the algorithm to achieve the new result it wanted. Apple provided this statement. We created the App Store to be a safe and trusted place for customers. Wait, let me get my right voice. We created the App Store to be a safe and trusted place for customers to discover and download apps, and a great business community for all developers. Do I have a rah-rah flag anywhere? App Store search has only one goal, to give customers what they're looking for. We do that in a way that is fair to all developers, and we do not advantage our apps over those of any other competitor. No, they don't. Today, developers have many options for distributing their apps, and that's why we work hard to make it easy, fair, and a great opportunity for them to develop apps for our customers around the world. That whole statement sounded phony. You know. So, they talk out of both sides of their face. First, they say they're not manually doing it. Then they said they are manually doing it. So we're supposed to believe them both times? I don't understand. I mean, how stupid is people supposed to be?
Well, they're not. People do the behaviors that you let them get away with. And, I say this talking about sheeple. Sheeple lets them get away with it, so they think Apple thinks it'll work with everybody else.
I guess, yeah. It's just, you think they'd be embarrassed by contradicting themselves, but they don't seem to be at all, All right, I'm sharing. Okay, I got the next story up. Whenever you are ready. Anytime you guys want to jump in and say anything.
Yeah, this is an oldie. Nobody wants to do this. Is too hot stuff. Nobody dares say anything about Apple.
All right, let's see.
Okay.
All right, I just took off the reader so we could see the top, and then I'll put it back on.
Sorry. So here's the 8 billion ending to Steve Jobs' failed attempt to kill Dropbox. This is an oldie, but this is an oldie but goodie, guys. Okay, let's see. So we now have the full story. Oh, this is from Jim Edwards, 2008, yep. 2013. No, 2013. 9 years ago.
Exactly.
Or was it 10?
No, it's 9.
2013. 9 years ago. Yeah, I was right the first time. Okay. So yeah. So Steve Jobs once vowed to kill Dropbox. So he obviously failed. So you see, now let me. So Dropbox CEO Drew Houston retold the story of his meeting with Jobs to Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff at the latter company's big conference, according to IT Business. I wonder if that paper's still around. I kind of couldn't believe it when the meeting was getting set up, Houston recalls. Typing the address for one infinite loop, the Apple headquarters on his iPhone for directions, he realized the address was already pre-stored on the device. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, it is.
Jobs struck Houston as a straight talker. He told him he returned to Apple because he was frustrated that a company that convinced customers to pay $7 billion a year. This was 2013 back then.
Right.
To use their product could still lose $1 billion. But he was also direct with Houston, telling him that if he couldn't acquire his startup, he was going to come after Dropbox.
Yeah, right.
Oh, my screen keeps turning off. Come on. Let me turn on caffeine mode. 6 months after that meeting, Houston was watching Jobs' keynote and saw him make good on that promise. I guess you could say Jobs made it his job to take down Dropbox. So sorry. Where's that music coming from?
I don't hear any
Someone's having a
music
pool
here.
party. It's on my end. He was calling out by name and saying that he wants to kill us with iCloud. How did that work? Dropbox has since gathered 175 million users and is still much more now because the app is so simple. It looks and works just like any other folder on your desktop, but it's in the cloud so that no matter what device you're using, your files are right there. There's no special tech skills needed. iCloud, by contrast, doubtless has millions of Apple users, but only because Apple's operating system goes to lengths to prompt users into using it. As a product is confusing. Basically, yeah, iCloud sucked in 2013. Business Insider previously noted some other details from this meeting as recounted by Houston. He comes in, his assistant hands him a cup of tea, he cups it in both hands, sits down, walks back and forth, and says, "Where do we begin?" That's the Steve Jobs way, you know. Yeah, he does the tea thing. When he can't do this, when he's too tired of doing this, Steve Jobs just does this instead.
Okay.
He doesn't use a straw. That's my FNTT.
Okay.
That's the right word. We didn't get into specifics, but he floated the idea of Dropbox joining Apple. Isn't that a lovely way to phrase it?
Yeah, right.
Apple, instead of Apple buying Dropbox, you guys are just going to come join us.
Exactly.
It's a difference. It was an interesting conversation because he said he liked our products. I can't think of a much higher praise than that. Shoot, coming from Jobs, that might be a threat. Coming from Jobs or Gates back in 2013 might be a threat. Oh, yeah. Steve Jobs made the pitch himself, telling Dropbox it was just a feature, not a product. Oh! Dropbox founder Drew Houston says he told Jobs he wouldn't sell. He wanted to build a big company. We originally reported that Jobs Houston report was made back in 2011. You can read Forbes' account of the meeting here. I'm going to read more on that, but damn. You know what? What's his name? The owner of, what's his name? Renz, welcome. Good of you to join us.
Renz is here. Renz, you had us worried there for a while, brother.
Yeah, we were worried. But I'm glad you probably at work. Probably had stuff to do. It's okay, Renz. Yes, Renz. Today's sponsor is none other than Peach Milkshake by Chick-fil-A in conjunction with a peach wine.
This whole thing sounds so peachy, doesn't it? Oh. And we're not even in Georgia. Although I'm only about 8 miles from Georgia.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Chick-fil-A Peach Milkshake, limited only in the summertime in one size. Chick-fil-A doesn't want you to be fat.
Yeah, so it's only in the summertime when the weather is hot. Okay.
But back to the story. What was I saying? Well, thank you, Renz. Is it a good combo? It's not really a good combo. I don't like this brand of wine.
Well, why don't you just stop whining?
You guys,
I can't help it. I have extra puns in me today, I guess. And we're now seeing not even a picture of Ted.
So right now, I'm trying out this guy.
Okay.
And it sucks.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's not. I mean, maybe
you only have one
because I'm having it with the milkshake, but.
Do you only have one brand of wine?
And I also have this one is tried and true. Okay. No, I got this one, the Stella Rosa peach one. This is a good one, the Stella Rosa peach. If it's the choice between the two,
go with Stella Rosa.
Get this one.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have a the Barefoot brand, don't get the peach.
So he's
Just
saying
the
the
white
peach,
wine Moscato.
the peach is definitely not peachy. Okay. And he left us all
Also in the
alone.
back, I
Okay.
got some Stella.
Exactly.
I also got some watermelon that's being infused by some vodka as we speak.
Oh, I've heard of that before.
Yeah, I should probably. I wonder how long I should leave it. It's been infusing for about 6 hours now. They said leave it for about 24 hours, but maybe that's too much.
I have no expertise. I have friends that have told me about that, but since I don't eat watermelon at all, I can't tell you.
All right. Anyway, so back to what I was saying about this story we just read about Dropbox and Steve Jobs. Evan Blass, the guy who owns Snapchat, he was probably thinking about this story when he didn't sell Snapchat to Facebook. The problem, though, or the difference, though, is that it appears that Drew Houston is a better CEO than Evan Glass.
Exactly.
Because you see, Evan, we're going to say George.
A bunch of us tried Snapchat. I tried it for 2 years, but a lot of people just dropped. I got tired of it. And I think a lot of people did.
Mm-hmm. You see, what Drew Houston, CEO of Dropbox, did was that he made sure the Dropbox app on Apple and Android were working very good.
Right.
From the jump. Yeah, from the jump. So there were even, and Android, Dropbox was even giving promotional deals for Samsung users. You know, he would give them 2 years for free. Or was it? Yeah, like 200 gigabytes for 2 years free for Samsung users.
Okay.
The Android and the Apple side was working. Meanwhile, on Snapchat, you know how that stuff goes. So yeah. Sorry, Evan. You should have. You only focused on one half of the story.
Oh, that sounds
But
so
yeah,
good
you
over
know what's
the
funny
air.
that nobody really.
I'm only encouraging him. I know. It's my fault, folks.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Let me wash that down with some. What do you think, Joe? What do you think about those? Ooh.
Are you done
I was
now?
just thinking though, nobody talks about that failure. What do you mean, done with what? The milkshake? Yeah, I'm done with the milkshake.
Okay.
But now we're not done with the story. Look at it was supposed to be a discussion.
All right, so finish.
What do you think?
I think well, you can't go by me. I think Steve Jobs was an egomaniac, so I wouldn't have partnered with him either. That's just me, though.
But it's funny. Why does nobody mention that Apple failure? Everybody's always quick to say, you know, Google, they can't get messaging right. But nobody wants to talk about how Apple doesn't get iCloud right, and they were trying to kill.
But you know, Apple is expert at killing any bad story, anything bad about Apple. They manage to kill it in a hurry. You know.
Do they kill it?
Generally, I think so. Yes.
I thought people you know, whenever there's something bad, they just go into a hive mind and just forget about it.
Well, yeah, it's to see no evil, hear no evil. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. The only time that didn't do it was the power mat.
No, and when Lou snapped the phone, that
the iPhone, what was that? The iPhone 6?
Yes, yes, yeah. That
Yeah,
that they could not stop for a long time. You know.
Apple took that personally. They have
Yeah, they
not
did because
given Lulu
they
anything since.
to this day they will not give him another phone.
They never. I don't think he ever got the phone. He bought those. He's never gotten a review device from them.
Well, hey, Marquez doesn't get them, so I don't see any reason why Lou would either. You know.
Mark does get them.
I don't think he got. No, I think he buys them also because I remember him talking about the fact that they don't
Nope.
give him phones. Now maybe that changed. I don't know.
Actually, that's. I know they gave him review devices for the Max when he got those early. Maybe they
Yes,
don't do
yes.
it for the
I just think.
phones.
Yeah, I think it's just the phones. They never give him a review phone. I think.
Okay. Let's see. So sorry. Oh, Red, you're okay. Don't worry. No need to worry about that.
Renz, it's never a problem when it's you.
Yeah, Red. But Red, George, do you not see though the problem, George? There's a problem, George. They're trying
Go
to
ahead.
they got too much control of the apps, George, and then they when if they like an app that doesn't want to sell, they try to kill it, George, by controlling the
That's true.
search.
I know that's true. I agree that's true. And you know we got stories coming up to address this stuff.
But you still say terms and service, George.
Well, that's true. That is very true. Okay. Now we've
Yeah.
got our
Is this
Trump
you?
story. This should get a lot of views, I would think. Trump stories usually do. Pardon me. Okay, this is on USA Today. And DOJ Inspector General to review Trump's Justice Department seizure of Democrats' phone data. This is by Josh Meyer and Christine Phillips on USA Today. So let me put on the reader, get rid of some of these commercials. Okay. Washington, the Justice Department's independent watchdog on Friday announced that it was launching a broad investigation into whether the Trump administration and its two attorneys general improperly seized phone records of House Democratic lawmakers, their staff, and journalists as part of an aggressive 2018 leak investigation. Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz confirmed that he would launch an investigation into it, as well as use the use of subpoenas to obtain journalists' phone records. Horowitz said his watchdog agency would look beyond subpoenas to other legal authorities to obtain communication records in connection with the recent investigations of alleged unauthorized disclosures of information to the media by government officials. The review will examine the department's compliance with applicable DOJ policies and procedures, Horowitz said, and whether any such uses or other investigations. And I just lost my screen. Give me a minute, folks. I'll be back. Gotta get my screen back. This happens to me every once in a while, and I don't know why.
Let me see if I can jump in there. Let's see. The Senate Democratic leaders demanded on Friday that then President Donald Trump, two attorney generals, William Barr and Jeff Sessions, testify about the seizure of phone records. The New York Times, which first reported the seizure Thursday night, said Justice Department subpoenaed Apple for phone of data Democratic lawmakers and their aides and family members, of whom is a minor, to find out sources of media reports about the contest between Trump and associates and Russia. A Justice, George, can you scroll down, please? Barr also declined. So did Justin.
Okay, I'm back. All right, where are we?
We're at the bottom of this thing. We're on the page, George. We're at the bottom. Need a
All the way down? No, we're not that far down.
no, where it says Bar also declined to comment.
Oh, I see what's happening. Wait, I got to stop sharing. I got to share again. That's what it is. Okay. Okay, I'm sharing again. And my camera's up. Okay. Okay, now we're back. All right, so aren't we here where it says data stored on dozens of numbers emails? Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. In a statement Friday, Apple said it received a federal grand jury subpoena on February 6, 2018, seeking customer or subscriber account information tied to 73 phone numbers and 36 email addresses. This doesn't necessarily mean the subpoena sought the phone and email data of 109 different people, because some of the numbers and addresses are tied to one Apple subscriber, while others aren't tied to any subscribers, according to the company. The subpoena did not state the nature of the investigation, Apple said, adding that the company provided only metadata and account subscriber information, not emails or pitches. Apple said the gag was
We lost George and my mic is muted. Oh boy. This just got from bad to interesting. Switching audio to AirPods. Lost George and my mic is muted. Oh boy. Oh, hey Gary, what's up? Ay, 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 ay. Sorry, my mic got muted again. Let me just add George to hide any audio issues. Oh,
I
George.
don't know if it's going to let me back in at all.
Boom. Well, no, Gary. Actually, these are my girlfriend's AirPods. I sold my AirPods though. I sold it to on Mercari. 100. No. Did I sell it on Mercari? No, I sold it on OfferUp for. There's the camera. $100. Money well received. Ah, and George had George will come back. You can't keep George down because he gets up again. You're never gonna keep him down. I guess let me go finish the Trump story. What do you think, guys? Let's see. The New York Times, which first reported the seizure on Thursday, said Apple Justice Department subpoenaed Apple for the phone data to find out the sources about who was snitching. They were trying to find the snitch, guys. In a statement on Friday, Apple said it received a federal grand jury subpoena on February 6, 2018, seeking customer or subscriber account information tied to 73 phone numbers and 36 emails. This doesn't necessarily mean the subpoena sought the phone and email data of 109 different people, because some of the numbers and addresses are tied to one Apple subscriber, while others aren't tied to any subscriber, according to the company. The subpoena did not state the nature of the investigation, Apple said, adding that the company provided only metadata and the account subscriber information, not emails or pictures. Apple said the gag order was extended 3 times. The Justice Department under the Biden administration did not seek to extend the gag order, allowing Apple to inform the subjects of the subpoena on May 5th that their phone metadata and account subscriber had been seized. Demanding answers. People are mad. A question that we have for the Justice Department is, what legally was this predicated on? Keep forgetting about my camera there. We have repeatedly posed basic and readily answerable questions to the department for more than a month, but they have received virtually no information beyond a confirmation that the investigation is closed now that Trump has left office. On Thursday night, after the Times published his report, Sowell went on CNN and confirmed that, I'll add you, George, hold on. I believe the family members were targeted punitively, not for any reason in law, but because Donald Trump identified Chairman Schiff and members of the committee as an enemy of his, adding that the gag order was motivated by a fear of public perception that the Trump administration was targeting perceived political enemies. House Democrats promptly announced the data seizure, called for an inspector general investigation. The news about the politicization of Donald Trump's administration over the Justice Department is harrowing. These actions appear to be yet another egregious assault on our democracy waged by the former president. Democrats have also long said that Trump used the Justice Department to go after his perceived political enemies, an allegation that Schiff repeated Thursday night. All this focus on the Justice Department it's like they like to pretend like it's the only thing Trump used. Well, remember, what was the department Trump used to go after Biden for Ukraine, guys? You're putting this all on the Justice Department. It's not fair to them. In an interview with CNN, Schiff said that 7 more lawmakers or staffers from the state may have been targeted as part of the leak investigation. He said people who received notices from Apple initially thought the emails were spam or phishing attempts. Damn. The Justice Department during the Trump administration also secretly obtained phone records from journalists from the New York Times, Washington Post, and CNN, or as Trump would have preferred, the failing New York Times. Faced with criticism from journalists and media advocates, the Biden admin announced it would no longer secretly obtain reporter records during a leak investigation, a departure from a policy used by previous admins to try to identify sources who provide their sources, because who doesn't like snitches? Who doesn't like snitching? So what do you think, George? Do you think there's a story here? George? Well, it looks like Gary kind of agrees with Trump's methods here. When you have a snitch, when you have a leak in your ship, you gotta find the leak. And the data was obtained from Apple legally through a grand jury, a subpoena. I mean, just because maybe the argument is, you're questioning or you're trying to obtain, the data from reporters. Maybe that's the bad part. But if not the report, the reporter is that's the true. That's where the leak is being funneled into. That's the certified bucket. What's the other option? Like subpoena all the records of your entire White House staff? Maybe that's a viable option.
But you see, the way I see this stuff, both sides, Trump did it, Obama did it, they both did it, and then they both say they're doing it for a valid reason and blah, blah, blah. It's the same old political nonsense, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Trump is wrong to do it. Obama's wrong to do it. Who cares? This is what politicians do.
I mean, are they wrong to do it? Where's the wrong that comes in? Are they wrong because they try to get the data on reporters, or should we not just look for the snitch at all?
I don't trust reporters either, for that matter. I don't think they should even bother. That's just me, because nobody's telling the truth. Nobody is telling the truth.
All right, let's see. Let's get to the next story. You want to help me out with that, George, please?
If I can get to the next story, I'm going to try. All right. So far, so good. All right.
Gary's like, you shouldn't get data.
Let's see if my connection will allow it. Okay.
You shouldn't get
sharing.
data. What do you mean you shouldn't get? Surely a grand jury should be allowed to subpoena to get data.
Yeah, I don't understand what he's saying. I don't understand what this is the New York Times story. Okay.
Are you being
according to at least from this computer?
You gotta pay that $1
according
week,
to
George?
the New York Times, I've had too many previews. Huh?
Yeah, you guys are gonna have to give New York Times $1.
I'm not giving them a dime. So the New York Times seems to be the only place that I cannot share from the New York Times story. So I guess you're going to have to read it. Oh, wait. Let me see if I can switch to reader.
Maybe. Hey, he's learning, guys. Hey!
Okay.
I wish I could play the Marvel theme song.
Yeah, but let's see if it stays.
Again, pay the $1, George. Hold on, what does that say?
I'm not paying the $1. I don't buy newspapers, period. I haven't in 40-some years, and I'm not going to start now.
For $1.
Now, who's reading this? You?
Reporter. You are.
Right. Not 1 penny.
For just $1.
I'll try. Well, let's see how we do.
A starving reporter from the fading New York Times. Please give generously.
Let him starve.
You can.
Let him starve. Let him starve. And he can bum more money in the streets of New York than I make. So, okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's see if I can get the headline to show.
That was delicious.
Lawmakers taking aim at big tech push sweeping overhaul of antitrust. And this is by, let's see what happened. Did I put on a reader? Yeah, I think I did. Okay, Washington. House lawmakers on Friday introduced sweeping antitrust legislation aimed at restraining the power. Oh, now it's kicking in. Okay, aimed at restraining the power of big tech and staving off the corporate consolidation. If passed, the bills would be the most ambitious update to monopoly laws in decades. Well needed. The bills in Google, I noticed they kept that in alphabetical order, and their grip on online commerce, information, and entertainment. The proposals would make it easier to break up businesses that use their dominance in one area to get a stronghold in another, would create new hurdles for acquisitions of nascent rivals, and would empower regulators with more funds to police companies. The legislation could reshape the way companies operate. Facebook and Google, for instance, could have a higher bar to prove that any mergers aren't any anti-competitive. Apple could face more scrutiny when selling its own branded products like toilet paper. Oh, Amazon could face more scrutiny when selling its own branded products like toilet paper and clothing. Apple could have a harder time entering new lines of businesses that are unregulated. Tech monopolies have too much power over our economy. They are in a unique position to pick winners and losers, destroy small businesses, raise prices on consumers, and put folks out of work. That's absolutely true, said Representative David Cicilline, Think, Democrat of Rhode Island. Oh, okay, that was your music. Okay. Democrat of Rhode Island and chairman of the Antitrust Subcommittee. Our agenda will level the playing field and ensure the wealthiest, most powerful tech monopolies play by. They also have the most powerful lobby in Washington. The introduction of the bills, which have some bipartisan support, is the most aggressive challenge yet from Capitol Hill to Silicon Valley's tech giants, which have thrived for years without regulation. This year, the Antitrust Subcommittee released a scathing report about the industry after a 16-month investigation, declaring that Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google engaged in a variety of monopolistic behavior. Their proposals released on Friday try to address the concerns detailed in the report. We'll see. Over the past decade, dozens of bills addressing data privacy, speech liability, and children's online safety have failed. But the efforts to curb the dominance of the biggest tech companies have gained broad support in recent years. The Justice Department and the Federal Trade Commission during the Trump administration accused Google and Facebook of anti-competitive practices and filed lawsuits that are expected to be fought for years. Democrats and Republicans point to the dominance of a handful of firms as a root cause for the spread of disinformation, inequality in labor and wages, and haphazard rules for speech across the internet. The tech giants face similar challenges to their power across the globe, including antitrust investigations in Europe and new legislation in Australia and India to curb power. It's true. These are just the type of new laws we need to really address the problem of gatekeeper power by dominant digital platforms, said Charlotte Slayman, the competition director for Public Knowledge, a public interest group. Big tech firms have so many powerful tools to protect their monopolies. These bills would give antitrust enforcers a few more powerful tools to open up digital platform markets for competition. The bill set up a showdown with the tech industry's powerful influence armies. Over the past decade, the industry has assembled the largest group of lobbyists in Washington. That's true. And the companies sponsor think tanks, fund academic papers, and employ top antitrust legislation firms to defend their businesses. Some of the proposals are likely to gain widespread support among lawmakers, including one focused on getting more funding for antitrust agencies through higher merger fees. I don't think higher merger fees would stop anything. The Senate recently passed a similar bill. Another bill, digital history to other websites, which would weaken the stranglehold that large companies like Facebook, like it came. Okay. But other bills will be harder to pass. One would make it illegal for a company like Google, which has a dominant search engine, to own another business that relied heavily on online search. For example, a company would not be allowed to favor search results for its YouTube video service under the new law, and it could be required to spin off the video business if it favored it over competitors. Another bill would prohibit a dominant company from using its weight to exclude rivals from demanding conditions like buying goods and services from the company of others that wanted to access the platform. Adam Kovacevic, the head of Chamber of Progress, a lobbying group with big tech members, said consumers would be deprived of popular products if the bill succeeded. Banning conveniences like Amazon Basics brand batteries, Apple's Find My Phone tool, or Google Maps appearing in Google search results are ideas that would spark a consumer backlash. That's probably true with those particular ones he's named. Facebook and Google declined to comment. Amazon and Apple didn't immediately respond for requests. Look how they phrase that. Facebook and Google declined to comment. Amazon and Apple didn't immediately respond. Isn't you saying the same thing two different ways? I mean, come on. They all declined to comment.
Just
some similar tech companies hailed the bills. Exactly.
They needed to paddle
Roku, the online streaming device maker, said in a statement that, I guess so, yeah. Roku, the online streaming device maker, said in a statement that the largest tech companies flagrantly ignore existing antitrust laws and harm consumers. An aggressive set of reforms is needed to prevent a future where these monopolists further abuse consumer choice and hamper access to innovative and independent products, the company said. Antitrust experts say the bills would embolden enforcers who have become constrained by court decisions that have narrowed the interpretations of century-old antitrust laws. Well, they need to update those laws. This is a reaction to the fact that our antitrust laws have been construed so narrowly by the Supreme Court, said Eleanor M. Fox, professor. It's very appropriate for Congress to be stepping in to prohibit and determine what's bad and what's good for markets. Republicans are divided on aspects of the bills. Representative Ken Buck of Colorado, a Republican on the subcommittee, has been a consistent critic of the power of big tech, but he has also insisted on narrowing aspects of the laws to assure that small companies aren't swept up in the changes. Okay. Makes sense. I would think. Okay, but Mr. Buck, like other Republicans, have been speech in whole workings market that encourages innovation and provides American small businesses with a fair playing field. Doing nothing is not an option. We must act now. Okay, so he's spinning it his way, but I think that for me, the basic idea of this whole article is in the internet did not exist when they came up with these antitrust
That is true.
So it seems
That's
to me
right. They need an
have to
updating.
update them. That's the main thing.
Amen, George. They sure do.
Okay, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing they need. Yeah. Good story.
Hold on.
It'll be nice if something good comes out of these 5 proposed bills. We'll see. Yeah, because it seemed like you couldn't hear me for a while.
I heard you all the time. What do you mean? I don't know if you can hear me now, George. Well, plowing ahead. Let's see.
It's going to, oh no, it didn't bounce me out again this time. Okay.
Oh, there you're back. Quick, put the next story before something happens to you.
Yeah, it's Comcast is terrible on my end tonight. Just terrible.
There must be an Apple fan.
Okay, slowly coming up, I think. It's trying to come up. Yeah, this Comcast tonight is just bad. It hasn't been this bad quite a while.
The last time it was this bad was with David.
All right.
And it was both
Sharing,
of you.
share, turn off.
And coincidentally, he actually retweeted this link. So, so it's almost like it's deja vu. When the both of your hands touch the pot, Comcast comes stirring.
Okay.
Where is the story now? Reload. I'm talking about real Apple. I saw my now. All right, let me plow ahead.
Thanks for those who are sticking with us. It's terrible tonight. Okay.
So, Apple can't stop users from removing pre-installed apps under the proposed antitrust bill. Yay, yay. Last week, U.S. lawmakers introduced a 5 bipartisan antitrust bills targeted at big tech, namely Apple, Amazon, Google, and Facebook. These proposed antitrust bills aim to impose new constraints on how Silicon Valley's giants operate. Oh, the heck. Turn on. Caffeine, turn on. There we go. Operate in their anti-competitive business practices and restrict the acquisitions and mergers. There's just too much acquisitions and mergers. Among the proposed bills is the American Innovation and Choice Online Act, which is passed would essentially prohibit Apple from restricting iPhone users from uninstalling pre-installed apps. One of the provisions in the bill prohibits companies like Apple from restricting or impeding users from uninstalling preloaded apps. As per U.S. Judiciary Subcommittee Antitrust Chairman Rep. David Cicilline, Apple must give its users complete control over which apps they want to use or remove, much like how Google has to present Android users in Europe with a search engine choice when setting up the device for the first time. Ain't that handy? It would be equally easy to download the other 5 apps as the Apple one so that they're not using their market dominance to favor their own products and services. You can't make it impossible for people to use other services that are the same. You can't exclude other people, so you are only left that one. I should say that twice. That's a good thing. You can't make it impossible for people to use other services that are the same. You can't exclude other people, so you are the only one that's left. The provision in question is mentioned under Section 2B5 of the American Innovation and Choice Online Act. It shall be unlawful for a person operating a covered platform in or affecting commerce to restrict or impede covered platform users from installing software applications that have been pre-installed on the covered platform or changing default settings that direct or steer covered platforms users to products or services offered by the covered platform operator. The bill also has a provision that would forbid tech giants from changing default settings that lead users to their products. Amazon, let me see what you're gonna do with your lock screen now, sucker. I guess you're just gonna have to add on $40 to your Kindles. The bill, another bill that likely affects Apple is the Ending Platform Monopolies Act. This bill will prevent platforms with at least 50 million monthly active users and a 600 billion market cap to own or control businesses that creates a conflict of interest and gives their products and services an advantage. Apple is to issue a public statement on the proposed bills. That is a very high bar that they set. If a 600 billion market, I mean, yeah, I mean, if your business is generating that much, like, I mean, it's at this point, I can get down with that. If you're making that much clearly with your business, well done. Make sure now you don't just crush any other little guys that you created the platform for to share their products.
Sorry, I keep having all these issues. Like this Comcast nothing I can do about it. It's my landlord. This Comcast.
Well said, George. Well said. Can you put on the next story, George, so I can read it? Let me go ahead and take it over for you. I suppose I could read it a cappella, as it were. Let's see. So, final story for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Let us read from the book of CNET. Google should be declared a public utility, Ohio lawsuit demands. The search giant should be classified similarly to electricity and gas providers as a complaint by the state AG. That's Attorney General. That's what that means, friends. By Richard Nieva. Maybe I should just, it's a 1 minute. I can just play the
Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost filed a lawsuit against Google on Tuesday, asking the court to legally declare the search giant a public utility, akin to electricity and gas providers. The lawsuit also alleges Google hurts its rivals by prioritizing its own products and services in search results, displaying them above those of competitors. The case doesn't seek any monetary damages. This suit does not argue that Google's dominance of internet search is good or bad when viewed in isolation. Those issues are left to be resolved elsewhere, the complaint reads. Accepting this fact, the first claim is narrowly focused on establishing that Google's provision of internet search is properly classified as a common carrier and/or public utility under Ohio common law. The complaint comes as Google faces intense antitrust scrutiny more broadly. Last October, the U.S. Justice Department filed a landmark case against the tech giant alleging it broke antitrust law by cutting deals with device makers to be the default search engine on their devices, a move that blocked competitors. The lawsuit also said Google used the dominance of its Android operating system to pressure device makers to preload Google apps on their phones. In December, a consortium of nearly 40 attorneys general, including Ohio's Yost, filed a case alleging that the tech giant's search results favored its own services over those of more specialized rivals, similar to claims made in Ohio's separate complaint Tuesday. Google said Ohio's case has no basis in fact or law. Yost's lawsuit would make Google search results worse and make it harder for small businesses to connect directly with customers, a Google spokesman said in a statement. Ohioans simply don't want the government to run Google like a gas or electric company. The search giant has been grappling with antitrust woes around the world, too. On Monday, Google was fined $268 million to settle a competition probe in France. As part of the deal, Google agreed to make changes to its advertising technology business.
And that concludes the story from the book of CNET. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoy the stories. Apology if you guys got the impression that it was all Apple bashing, but there was a lot of good stories that were Apple related. And of course, I had to throw in the Google one to, not make the Apple rancid, to try to beat a dead horse, if you were. But let me guys know what you think about that last story, changing Google to become a utility company. Like, would this only change in Ohio, or is the Ohio's AG want this to be nationwide? Would have loved to hear George's thoughts on this one. Hopefully put it on Twitter if you're still here, George. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes tonight's stories. I hope you guys have a lovely weekend, and I'll catch you guys next week on George's channel. Oh, I got a message. Let's see who's that from. Let's see. That is from my weight loss app. Wants me to put in what I ate. Hey, way too much today to go through that trouble.